Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the Walking Dead video. The Walking Dead Dead City is going to be premiering in just 2 days from now, and so I'm going to be doing my Q&A video. If there's some other questions that you do want to get in for the Q&A, then definitely make sure to go follow me on Discord. The server name is Appetite for the Dead. There's a Q&A channel there. I'll be doing all my Q&As every single Wednesday, and so yeah, I'll get this one out for tomorrow. So there's still some time to get some questions in, and yeah, I'm so excited for Dead City on Sunday. Honestly, I really cannot wait to actually watch the show. I've seen some clips for the show. I've wanted to talk about some of the clips, but I just kind of decided, I'll just kind of wait because, I mean, we're 2 days away from now, and I mean, I might as well just wait to watch that episode, right? But there's actually some really exciting things to talk about that I do want to get into, and I really want to get into the idea here of what is likely going to be happening here at the very end of Dead City, because the early reviews came out a couple of days ago, and it's been really interesting because the last 2 episodes of Dead City Season 2 were not released for review, which is really interesting because, I mean, if you're going to be reviewing the whole season, why not show the last 2 episodes? And there's likely a couple reasons for that, so I do want to talk about that. So before going any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. Now, to get into the whole Rick Grimes thing, and yeah, I'll focus more on Rick Grimes, because I do talk about Dwight sometimes, but I do more want to focus on Rick Grimes just for this video specifically, and I actually want to talk about a little bit more of what's been happening more recently, and why I think they could be starting to set that up now, because it does seem like Rick's return is likely going to be happening at some point very, very soon here, because of what the actors have been saying about, you know, I guess how long they're going to be playing the role for. So let's actually get into that. So Jeffrey Dean Morgan recently said that his time playing the character is likely going to be coming to an end. I mean, it's dangerously close to that. The way he worded it, though, it wasn't necessarily like that. Like, he just kind of said, like, you know, I've been playing the role for so long now that I don't see you know, an end to it really, unless, you know, I'm just getting too old for it. And he said he was getting dangerously close to that, right? So obviously just sort of acknowledging that, you know, as he's getting older and older, like, he's not going to be able to play this role forever. And I mean, that does make a lot of sense to me, right? Like, you're not going to want to play this role forever and ever, right? Because even though to us, we love the character, I'm sure he loves the character as well, it's also like a job as well for him. So like, I do get that aspect to it as well, right? Like, you're not going to play the character forever, but I still do think we have another, like, what, 5-6 years with the character left. That's sort of what I'm assuming. Like, in my head, this whole thing is going to be ending by 2030. I think that's when the Endgame reunion and everything is going to be happening. Like, everything by 2030 will likely sort of, you know, end. That's kind of what I'm assuming anyways. Like, who knows, maybe it doesn't, but that's just the way I'm seeing everything playing out here, because he actually did say that they were in talks for a couple of more seasons or something like that. I don't remember exactly what he said there, but it was basically something like that. And the rumor out there is that they're going to be filming season 3 and 4 back to back or something like that later on this summer. So it does seem like Dead City is going to be going on for a couple of more seasons. And again, I think that's where the whole thing with, you know, reuniting with Rick just makes a lot of sense. And you gotta wonder, you know, in terms of how that all comes together, like, why don't they just do that right now, right? Like, why doesn't Rick just come back to the story right now? Well, it's a few things. I do think that, you know, he wouldn't mind coming back to the story right now if it made a lot of sense for the story. And I think that it's one of the things that Andrew Lincoln just, you know, he doesn't want to be a part of the show if there's going to be a new season every single year, right? Like, I think every single year doing a TV show like that, he did that for a very long time. And I think at this point now, he's just like, you know, I did that for almost 10 years. And I think that he's just sort of past that at this point now. But I think coming back every couple of years is something that obviously he would love to do, because that's like the character that he plays, right? Like, it's Rick Grimes. Like, he doesn't really have another role out there that, you know, he's really that famous for playing. And so I think that it makes a lot of sense for his, you know, own personal career and everything, that, like, coming back to play the character just, like, it just makes a lot of sense. So I think at some point it is going to happen. I just think that it's one of those things where he would probably want to come back if it means reuniting with the other characters, but does Gimple just take the other characters and have them go onto a show with Rick, right? Like, it just doesn't make too much sense considering the fact that they have their own shows right now that are very successful. So you might as well have them just do their own show for as long as you can, basically, right? And then that's when you reunite everyone. Like, to me, that seems to be what it is overall, is that they're like, you know what, like, we have the characters separated now and the shows are doing very well. we might as well keep doing this until we can't really see there being any more story left, and then we'll go on to something else and reunite all the characters. Like, that makes a lot of sense to me. I think doing something like that, honestly, is likely what Gimple's plan is overall here. And so that's why I think that with these spinoffs, they're going to go for like 4 or 5 seasons around there. And then that's when I think they're all going to reunite, because this way you can say that they had their own spinoff and they had their own show or whatever, and then they all reunite. And then at that point, how long does that show go on for? Probably like 1 season, maybe 2, depending on the story. But I'm expecting like this big, huge, like end game story sort of thing that's like 10 episodes long or whatever. And then that'll probably be it. It won't be the end of The Walking Dead, though, that's for sure. Gimple said that recently, right? Like, he said that The Walking Dead is likely going to be continuing, well beyond 2040. So, I mean, maybe these character stories are done, but we'll get like, maybe it's like a next generation type thing, because to me, it just makes a lot of sense. Like, The Walking Dead is not going to end for a very long time. And the second that The Walking Dead, like this era of The Walking Dead ends, I think a new era will begin, because they'll just reboot the whole show, right? Because I think with doing all the spinoffs and having all this stuff happen, at some point people are going to be like, oh, I miss like the old Walking Dead, like with the farm and Herschel. I miss the old characters. I really think they'll just end up rebooting everything, because they're like, well, now we can have these characters here. And then it just starts over again, right? Like, you're recasting all the characters. And then at that point, it's going to be really interesting, because I wonder, just certain decisions that will be made in terms of, like, I bet you they're not going to kill off Carl. Like there's certain things that they're probably not going to do, right? So going back to what Jeffrey Dean Morgan was saying, like, it just makes a lot of sense to me. So I think, yeah, like, that is what we're building to here overall, is this endgame reunion. And so going back to Dead City season 2 and the fact that, they got to watch the first 6 episodes of 8, like, I've heard of stuff like that before, like if you think about The Walking Dead, I know that some of the reviewers would watch like the first 3 episodes and then they would have to watch week to week, or they would get the episode a week early or something for the next episode, and then we have to wait all the way until the finale, right? So you're only getting the first 3 of 16, right? So it's not like this is not that normal, but in terms of how they've been doing it lately, it's really interesting, because they've been giving them like the whole season, right? And so holding back the last 2 episodes here of this season is interesting, because I feel like that is because of spoilers. I really do feel like that is the reason to do all of it, because like the spoilers for The Ones Who Live and The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 2 were absolutely insane. Like, especially for The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 2, it got very, very bad, and like everyone knew what happened the entire season. Like, that's why last year there just wasn't that much excitement for everything, because everyone knew how certain moments happened. And again, for The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 2, it was very, very different, because with that show, it was like, well, everything was spoiled pretty much, right? Like the entire season, like right after episode 1 aired, like honestly, that was just absolutely horrible. So I think having the first 6 episodes out there, and also if you notice, like not everyone gets to review them anymore, and I think that's very smart. Like, you just want really like the main articles out there, I feel like, reviewing it. Like, you don't need everybody reviewing it, because I'm going to be reviewing it anyways on the day. And so I think that is one aspect to this, is that there is probably something very spoilery here that is happening at the very end of the season, that if they gave the whole season out to everyone, there's a chance that, obviously that reveal will happen a lot sooner. And so the reveal is not going to be that insane to see, right? So I just wonder what that reveal is going to be. Like, Dwight makes a lot of sense. Like, there's a couple of things here that I'm just thinking about, because when I look back to like, the rumors that have been going around for Dead City season 2, there was a lot of stuff of like, well, there's some props from Fear the Walking Dead season 8, which was interesting. Like, well, why is that on the set of Dead City season 2, right? Is that hinting at something with Dwight, or are they just using props from the show? Like, that's obviously still very possible. If you have props that you can use from the show, you might as well, right? But that's one thing that's really interesting. There's also the fact that they filmed something earlier this year. It was supposed to be Walking Dead related, and we still don't know what it's about. Maybe that is related to a post-credit scene or something with a new spinoff. And also, Gimple talked about that very recently, with Rick and Michonne coming back. Like, last year, whenever he was asked about it, it was a lot of like, well, I hope so. Maybe it's just sort of my dream, this and that, but I would hope to see it happen. And then earlier this year, it changed. It was very much like, yeah, we could see them in something different. And it was almost like he was not really confirming, but it felt like he was confirming that it wasn't going to happen in like, you know, The Ones Who Live season 2 or like a movie or something, but in a different way. There's different ways it can happen. And so I personally look at the Walking Dead universe filming on Twitter, or at TWU filming on Twitter. And the account recently said something in terms of, you know, this isn't the end, but they're not going to be posting a lot of filming updates out of respect for the hardworking cast and crew, saying that, you know, for now, I'll say the tides seem to be shifting in the Walking Dead universe in the near future. So I'm looking at all of this and I just feel like things are starting to go in the direction of there's something big happening very soon. And I do feel like it's Rick Grimes related. I think that there is going to be some sort of announcement of his return. And again, I don't know how that's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be a season 3 or 4 or what's going to happen here, but I'm just looking at this post and it's saying out of respect for the hardworking cast and crew, you know, like they're not going to post too many, I guess, updates and whatnot out there. And, you know, that tide seemed to be shifting in the near future for the Walking Dead universe. And so I just have the feeling that there is something about to happen here, because there's been a lot of complaints, you know, especially last year, about the lack of like anything exciting happening in terms of a direction for the Walking Dead universe. And there's been a lot of hints lately that it seems like Rick likely might be returning. And so, like, we don't know in what way or how things are going to be playing out. Like, I don't know if it's going to be a new series that they announce with Rick and Michonne, or maybe Rick just shows up for a cameo in a post-credit scene in season 3 or 4, or maybe it's a post-credit scene teasing something with Rick, but he's actually not going to be on Dead City. It'll just be like a new announcement for a new series or something, right? Like, I think there is something building here, and so I just really wanted to talk about that, because I never knew that they were holding back the last 2 episodes. Like, I thought the reviews that were coming out on April 30th were going to be for the whole season, and I was really honestly looking forward to that, because I was kind of wanting to see how they saw the ending of the season, I guess, you know, play out. Like, you know, was it positive? Is it more of a cliffhanger, or just all of that, right? And so, no, I mean, we have no hint of that at all. We're really just going to have to wait until the episodes come out. Anybody that gets to watch those episodes early, it's only going to be a week or 2 early, I feel like. So yeah, a lot of those spoilers are not going to be coming out for the last 2 episodes. And so we're really, I mean, I prefer that. I really stay away from spoilers, but I'm just saying, like, it's good overall for The Walking Dead, because it just keeps that excitement there watching week to week, right? And again, like, we're 2 days away right now from the show premiering. It's hilarious because it's the same thing as like previous shows, right? Like, it's sometimes hard to get really excited because you just don't necessarily, like, you're not there yet because you have to watch the show, right? Like, once you watch the first episode, then you're like in the story. And it was like that with The Ones Who Live. I just remember being like really excited, but like the day or 2 before, it was just like, it felt like a normal day. So I was just like, well, I feel like I should be way more excited for this. But as soon as you watch that first episode on the premiere day, you're just like, oh man, this is absolutely incredible. So anyways, I'm going to leave it here though. Why do you think they held back those last 2 episodes? And do you think that it hints at something happening in the future here? What do you think Gimple has planned for The Walking Dead? Because it does seem like things are starting to move in the right direction here. There's a lot of like cryptic teases and stuff like that for the future. So we'll have to wait and see, but post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.